Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to introduce you linear function. So what is linear function? By definition, a linear function is a function whose graph produced a line. So linear function can be written in the form of y equals to mx plus b, whereas b is the initial or starting value of the function. That means when x equals to 0. Oops. And then m is the constant rate of change of the function. You also refer it as a slope. So usually people tend to speak, hey, the output starts at b and increases at the rate of m. So there are many examples, such as when you're trying to take a test, the starting rate would be $3. That means once you get on the test, they're going to charge you $3. And after that, every 1 meter, they're going to charge you maybe, every 1 mile, they're going to charge you $4. So this is a linear function, right? So in here, I'm going to tell you the slope. So m is the constant rate of change. We also call it slope. So the slope determines if the function is an increasing function or decreasing function. For example, if the graph looked like this one, increasing from the left, you're looking from the left to the right, the function as x gets bigger, y also gets bigger. So that means this is an increasing function. When it comes to increasing function, the slope is a positive number. So if you see a graph look like that, this is a decreasing function. That means as x increase, y decrease. So when it comes to decreasing function, the slope is going to be a negative number, which is less than 0. So think about an example like this one. So here's the example. So Marcus currently owns 200 songs in his iTunes collection. Every month he added 50 new songs. Write a formula for the number of songs and in his iTunes collection as a function of the number of month m. How many songs will he own in a year? Well, to think about that. So what is the initial value of the function? So now the currently Marcus owns 200 songs, right? So that means the initial value b equals to 200. And now what is his increasing rate? So the number of songs increases by 15 songs per month. So that means the rate of change is 15 songs per month. So that means our m equals to 15. So with this information, we can write the formula as the number of songs equals to 200 at 15 times m. M is how many months since now. So m of m is an increasing linear function since m is greater than 0, m is equal to 15, greater than 0. So with this formula, we can predict how many sons he's going to have in a year, right? So in a year, you totally have 12 months. So m of 12 equals to 200 at 15 times 12, which is equal to 380. So that means markers will have 318 sons in 12 months. Okay, so now let me give you another example. Here you are. If you earn 13,000 per year and you're spending 29,000 per year, write an equation for the amount of money that you save after Y years. If you're starting with nothing, so what will be the equation look like? Well, the most important thing is you have to spend less than what you earn. So think about it. Now you have nothing, so that means your initial saving is 0. You're starting with 0, and each year you're earning $1,000 per year. So that means your total saving is equal to what? S. In terms of the year, you will have what? 1,000 times y plus 0 because your initial is 0. Okay. Now let's talk about how to calculate the rate of change. So the rate of change, which is the slope, we know that it's changing in y over the changing in x. So that means if I'm giving you two values for the input s1, y1, and the corresponding two value of the output y1, y2, which is a set of points. If we wish to find the linear function that contains both points, we can calculate the rate of change by the slope equals to the changes in output over the changes in inputs. So in math, we use a delta, which is a triangle, to represent the changes. The changing in y over the changing in x. So that means we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, the rate of change of a linear function is called the slope of the line. So this is our slope. And you notice that, so our y1 is equals to f of x1. That's how we use it for the function notation. And then y2 equals to f of x2. So that means sometimes you will see something like, hey, f of x1 minus f of x2 over x1 minus x2. They mean the same thing because yf of 1 equals to y1, yf of 2 equals to y2. So now you may ask me, hey, why sometimes you have y1 in the front and sometimes you have y2 in the front? They are the same because if you manipulate them a little bit, you will end up to have the same result. Because now let's take a look. y1, if I take a negative sign in front, I have a y2 plus y1, right? If I pull out a negative sign. Everyone gives a negative sign, 2 plus y1, and then I switch the sign a little bit. I pull out negative. So negative, negative, you will end up with a positive, right? Oh, another negative. Sorry. So I got these plus y1 over negative x2 plus y1, right? So how can I pull out this negative? Because here I have a positive y2, right? So a positive, you can also write it into two negative, okay? So if I, instead of a positive, I write two negative, you will have a negative y2 and negative x2, right? So I pull out the negative sign, I will end up to have a negative y2 plus y1. So, and then now let's switch. So this is equivalent to y1 minus y2, and then s1 minus, this is x1, sorry. S2. So when you manipulate them, they will end up to be the same. So that means which one in front, it doesn't matter because they represent the same thing. Okay, so now here is an example. So in here, you will see the population of a city increased from 20,400 to 27,800 between 2002 and 2016, and found the rate of change of the population during that span. All right, so what will be the changing? So we want to know the rate of change of the population during the time span. That means I want to know the changing in population over the changing in the time or the year. All right, so now the change in population is from what? 23,400 to 27,800 over the year is from 2002 minus 2016. When you simplify it, you will get 100 people, 1,100 people per year. So notice that we knew the population was increasing, so we would expecting our value for the snow m to be positive. This is a quick way to check if the value is reasonable. Such as